Good evening. Welcome to Scars to Stars, CBC and Lawi's program, profiling and showcasing the leadership and the leadership achievements of Zambian women, what they have achieved, how they have broken through barriers, how they have gone through cultural limitations, societal, religious limitations, to be the leaders they have become. Today we have a very auspicious leader, someone that has excelled in her private personal capacity, and she's going on to serve our nation. She has come out to stand, and she will tell us what she's standing for, and you would partake of it. When I heard about her standing, I was really excited, and I thought that it would be an honor to profile her here. I feel she's a breath of fresh air. I feel she has a message, and the message is, for me, primarily, women are not limited, and we can become all we can be. Tonight, I'm privileged to have Miss Chishala Kateka. She is the presidential, don't laugh at me, she is the presidential candidate for the New Heritage Party, and she will be standing, of course, she started canvassing and campaigning for that party, and we're going to be talking to her about her aspirations. But first, this is not a political discussion, it is a look into her leadership and her leadership timeline. Ms. Chishala Kateka, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
It's such a privilege to have you.
Thanks a lot.
How have you found, before we go into your life, how have you found the experience being in politics?
I think I've arrived. I think this is
fantastic.
me. This is who I am. I think finally, after all that time, I've actually found my niche.
It prepared you for this.
Absolutely. So I've gone through a lot. I've done a lot in my life. But this is, I can now say I'm in a good space.
You found it.
Yeah.
So let's go into it. Let's find out, how did you get here? Who is Chishala?
I like to tell people that my life is heavily influenced by the Bible, by Scripture. I'm a Christian, but career-wise, professional-wise, I studied economics at the University of Zambia. After I did that, I felt I was not well equipped for life, so I studied accountancy. I'm a fellow chartered accountant. I worked for Deloitte, Haskins and Sells here in Zambia and in Botswana. When I came back, I went into consultancy. I started my own auditing firm here. And I did consultancy work for the government of Zambia as well as the World Bank. I also managed Kafue Textiles. It was the largest integrated textile company south of the Sahara. So I did that. Now, while I was there, I saw how government dealt with the issues there, because the people there were not getting paid, sometimes for 9 months, sometimes 12 months and 18 months, and I saw that the way the government handled it. So I did join politics in 2001, because I was at Kafue Textiles, 2001. I joined politics. I was a founder member of the Heritage Party with General Godfrey Mianda. We didn't go through then, so I went back to work. I did the National Economic Diversification Task Force on behalf of government and the World Bank. And after that, I joined Zamnet Communication Systems Limited as the CEO there. Yes. And I worked there until 2014. From 2014, I retired, and I have been sitting on boards since then. I sat on a number of boards, a number of audit committees that I chaired. I also chaired the CCPC, the Consumer Protection Commission, Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. I also chaired Barclays, or ABSA, which is now ABSA. Yes. And I also sat on Nico Insurance. I left those as I was about to announce what I'm doing now.
Candidacy.
Yes, I've left out one part though. In 2004 to 2006, I took a sabbatical where I was working with youth.
Okay.
By youth, I don't mean teenagers, I mean young adults. And we bought a bus and we were going around the country speaking to youth about mindsets and helping them to become the adults that they need to become. I liked to look at it this way. What we do in church is theory. What we were doing is the practical aspect of what we do in church.
Wonderful.
So changing lives. So we did Northwestern Province, Western Province, Northern, Muchinga, Luapula, and Southern Province. So I've been to
That's
a lot.
Wide, very wide.
Very wide, yes.
So you started from your university.
Mm-hmm.
You studied economics. But can we go all the way back to your beginning? For a woman to be studying economics, why? What informed and influenced you? What family background did you come from? Did they encourage education? How?
Yeah.
How come you didn't get married and you ended up school? What happened between then and university?
Okay, so my parents were very forward-looking people. My father encouraged my mother to study. You know, she actually studied secondary school back in the day when it wasn't done. So he encouraged that, but he was a self-taught person. So for him and in our family, education was like key, especially for me.
Okay.
I'm the last born, so
how many of you in your family?
Four.
4 children.
Yeah, but there are only 2 of us left now. The firstborn and myself.
Okay.
So so they really encouraged. You know, my mother was a school teacher, although she changed her career when she was 40-something. She stopped teaching. She actually went to Leeds University in 1963 or something like that, because she was teaching, and she went for that. However, she came back at some point. She decided she needed a change of career, and she took up secretarial, which was something those days they had to really study for it, because they did that shorthand and things like that, which I thought was commendable. Anyway, so yeah, my parents so my parents used to encourage.
So you had good role models.
Yes.
As parents, and they encouraged education.
Yes.
Did that help you compared to the other females you grew up with? The other women you grew up with?
I think so, because from I went to a school, Kavlonga Girls School, from Form 1 to Form 5. And the school was at that time notorious. I don't know what it's like now, but it was one of those very naughty people went to that school. Okay. But even then, for my parents, not going to university was not an option.
Good evening. Welcome to Scars to Stars, CBC and Lawi's program, profiling and showcasing the leadership and the leadership achievements of Zambian women, what they have achieved, how they have broken through barriers, how they have gone through cultural limitations, societal, religious limitations, to be the leaders they have become. Today we have a very auspicious leader, someone that has excelled in her private personal capacity, and she's going on to serve our nation. She has come out to stand, and she will tell us what she's standing for, and you would partake of it. When I heard about her standing, I was really excited, and I thought that it would be an honor to profile her here. I feel she's a breath of fresh air. I feel she has a message, and the message is, for me, primarily, women are not limited, and we can become all we can be. Tonight, I'm privileged to have Miss Chishala Kateka. She is the presidential, don't laugh at me, she is the presidential candidate for the New Heritage Party, and she will be standing. Of course, she started canvassing and campaigning for that party, and we're going to be talking to her about her aspirations. But first, this is not a political discussion, it is a look into her leadership and her leadership timeline. Ms. Chishala Kateka, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
It's such a privilege to have you.
Thanks a lot.
How have you found, before we go into your life, how have you found the experience being in politics?
I think I've arrived. I think this is
fantastic.
me. This is who I am. I
Okay.
think finally, after all that time, I've actually found my niche.
It prepared you for this.
Absolutely. So I've gone through a lot. I've done a lot in my life, but this is, I can now say I'm in a good space.
You found it.
Yeah.
So let's go into it. Let's find out, how did you get here? Who is Chishala?
I like to tell people that my life is heavily influenced by the Bible, by Scripture. I'm a Christian, but career-wise, professional-wise, I studied economics.
Good evening. Welcome to Scars to Stars, CBC and Lawi's program, profiling and showcasing the leadership and the leadership achievements of Zambian women, what they have achieved, how they have broken through barriers, how they have gone through cultural limitations, societal, religious limitations, to be the leaders they have become. Today we have a very auspicious leader, someone that has excelled in her private personal capacity, and she's going on to serve our nation. She has come out to stand, and she will tell us what she's standing for in gender.
Yeah.
For you, from when did you start seeing yourself as leadership? If you look back now, when did you start when did you notice the traits of leadership? Looking back, when do you think it started, your leadership journey and leadership roles?
Yeah, I probably, I can strongly relate it to my Christianity.
Okay.
I got saved when I was in Botswana. I was about 33 or something like that, and I heard the gospel and I thought, wow, this is awesome. So I looked for a pulpit for myself. I used to go to prison every Saturday to go and preach in the prison. For as long as I was in Botswana and it was a Saturday, I would be preaching, so that is, and then because of that, I was put into the church leadership as well, because it was almost, my conversion was like, drastic.
Okay.
And I wanted to do something, and as I've studied what has brought me to this present decision, as I've studied scriptures, I realized that you can resolve issues in many ways. So for example, in 2001 I joined politics. We didn't go through, and I thought this won't work. So I started the NGO, and I realized that an NGO in of itself is not adequate. It's good, but it's not adequate. And here's the example. When Moses was going to help the Israelites when they were in Egypt, he could have started an NGO to help them, right?
He was actually advocating while you killed somebody.
Yes, but listen, he could have started an NGO where when they beat those guys up, he would have started the NGO where you heal their wounds, wash their wounds, and then send them back. It's a good thing, but it's not adequate.
Yes.
God's answer isn't go and start an NGO. God's answer is go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. That's a lasting solution.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
That is a lasting solution. So confronting the issue is politics. When you go there and you say, Pharaoh, you've got to stop this. That is politics. NGO, you pull these guys out, you sort them out and send them back to the same problem. It's not going to work.
So I'll bring that to our space, because what you are saying, one is confronting, speaking to power. Well, you are saying the NGOs are catering to the needs, advocating, but you are saying it is not enough. It's
not enough. It's enough because you are limited. Now, what politics does, and my conclusion from my journey is that the politics without the heart of an NGO doesn't work.
Okay.
The NGO without the platform doesn't work. You need both. You need a combination of both.
President Addo of Ghana actually alluded to that. He was in Rwanda and they were having a discussion like that. And he says women groups have done so well in advocacy, but as long as women are not sitting in decision-making positions, all that advocacy does not achieve the desire until we start taking leadership.
Absolutely.
And being in the machineries of leadership to make decisions and execute those decisions.
Absolutely.
So you subscribe. That is exactly what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying, and that doesn't just relate to the women. It relates especially Christians, because Christians pray, "Oh Lord, blah blah blah."
But one decision shuts down all that.
Yes, you can't just be praying. You need to go and confront. There's a time when you need to pray, but you need to go out there and go and face Pharaoh. You know, if you want to make a real change, you've got to get up and be part of the solution. Look, when you look at the Bible, God, those who pray, God will use them because He can speak to them. So,
yes.
Saul, Barnabas, and them, the five of them were praying and fasting, and God says, "Set apart for me these two."
Yeah.
So everybody heard, and they sent them off to the work to which the Lord had sent them to. So when you pray, then God gives you an instruction. Then you've got to get up and do that instruction. That's the way God works. That's why God always uses His people, because they can hear Him and they can do what needs to be done under instruction from the Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did this help you in your, because you went on to consulting, you didn't stay on the career path and have a job and stay with getting a salary. As a woman, getting out into that space, most women in that time, I want to assume, from our society, were comfortable, one, being housewives. Number two, they had jobs that had security, particularly in offices where they don't fire people.
Mm-hmm.
But you left the job and went to start your business, consulting. What brought about that transition? Why didn't you stay in safety?
Maybe it's the type of person I am. I'm not risk averse. Maybe I take risks. You know, now that you mention it, I like to challenge the status quo. I don't like to just flow with what everybody's flowing. I think a lot. Okay, I think a lot about life. I think a lot about what could be, and therefore I begin to pursue what could be. I just think that we limit ourselves a lot. I think we can do so much more. So much more. I mean, even now with what I'm doing, people are like, "Why would you do this?" You know, you finish your money. You know, but what if I finish my money but I succeed in what I'm doing?
Yes. And you are not doing it because of the money.
Absolutely. I'm not doing it because of the money.
But we will need the money to do it.
We'll definitely need the money to do it. So yeah, you can send some money through.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely need the money to do it. But that is not the primary reason that I am doing this. I keep saying to the people that are working with ourselves, and those who are yet to come, and hopefully they will come, is what would happen if we did the right thing at every point?
Yes.
We made the right decision. What would happen to Zambia in 5 years? I want to see that.
What informs your ideals? You've been giving me a lot of ideals. You think critically, you think solutions, you're not risk averse, and you just said to me, I do the right thing.
Yeah, if we do the right thing.
And I want to believe that's a pattern you have lived, for you to have been on board.
Not all the time.
Okay.
I'm not an angel.
Okay.
But at the moment, I have reached a stage in life where I want to see these things. After, you see, if you try all these things, I've made many mistakes. Believe me, I've made many mistakes. But after you've tried all this stuff, then, you know, like Solomon. What did Solomon say? He says, you know what?
The final word.
He says that I have done everything. I've grown gardens, I've married many women, I've done this, I've done that. But after all of that,
yes,
at the end of it all,
yes,
what matters?
That's what I've learned.
What matters? I think I've reached that I'm old enough to have reached that stage of what matters, you know.
Okay.
So you try this, you eliminate it. You try that, you.
Which
like
is
that.
good, because one of the things, you're very strong on the Bible. One of the things the Bible says, don't bring a novice to leadership.
That's right.
Don't
Yeah.
allow a
Yeah.
novice take.
Yeah.
So you have, and Solomon came and says, vanity upon vanities. I've done it, so I don't get distracted anymore.
Yeah.
In your leadership journey, as a woman, what challenges have you faced? Coming right from your childhood into the different boards that at that time we didn't have 50-50, talk of 50-50, he for she and all. How have you gone through to climb to boards, several boards?
Yeah. Here's what I like to say. The
Good evening. Welcome to Scars to Stars, CBC and Lawi's program, profiling and showcasing the leadership and the leadership achievements of Zambian women, what they have achieved, how they have broken through barriers, how they have gone through culture limitations, societal, religious limitations, to be the leaders they have become. Today we have a very auspicious leader, someone that has excelled in her private personal capacity, and she's going on to serve our nation. She has come out to stand, and she will tell us what she's standing for, and you would partake of it. When I heard about her standing, I was really excited, and I thought that it would be an honor to profile her here. I feel she's a breath of fresh air. I feel she has a message, and the message is, for me, primarily, women are not limited, and we can become all we can be. Tonight, I'm privileged to have Miss Chishala Kateka. She is
the guys, and
Yes.
work like one of the guys, then they will respect you like one of the guys.
Can we talk about that a bit? Because just being like one of the guys is it's like an obstacle course for a lot of women, particularly where there's disparity economically and there's a lot of power in play. How, for somebody listening, how did you maneuver that space, being one of the guys? How does a woman maneuver that space without getting caught in the web?
Well, so one of the things is, you know, like, I'm Deloitte trained. Deloitte Haskins and Sales trained. So you'd have stratas, you know, juniors, and then you become a senior, semi-senior, then you become a senior, and you climb. So of course you will mix with these guys, you know, the junior, your fellow junior.
Yeah.
So at that point, you shine at that level, you know, so that you get noticed, so that you can go up there. And most of your colleagues are married, they've got, you know, a lot of thingies, so it's not like you need their money, so you don't need their money.
Okay.
You're just one of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll even turn to you and say, can you give me a loan, that sort of thing. So they will respect you like that. I think the important thing is to be confident in yourself.
Good evening.
That's my cause, because you are not a cause. For them, if you allow them to, they will actually take advantage of you. One of the lessons that I have learned is that men will always try something. Well, not always, but
They always, we always
okay.
try something.
So they will always try, not because they love you or anything like that. They try just to see if they can succeed. Once you pass that stage and you don't give in, they begin to respect you for
That's
yourself,
true.
for who yourself. So I always tell the young ladies, don't get into that space. Don't get into that space where you are using bottom power. Don't get into that space where you think that if I sleep with this one, he'll give me. Because even if you do get that job, you are not confident in yourself that you would have done the job without this. So just don't get into that space. Don't
you believe in, for women to climb meritocracy,
yes, absolutely.
earn it, so you don't owe anybody anything.
You don't owe, and if somebody comes and says, I'm not giving you this job because of this, just tell them where to get off. You don't need that.
Did you face any such?
Not to that great extent. Maybe I've got such a hard face. So when they try, they just look and they say, this one. Mm-mm.
So what would you say the biggest challenges you faced in your leadership would be? Apart from developing yourself, you had good training, they would, even at that time, I'm sure, the emphasis on professionalism,
absolutely,
excellence, is still maintained still now. So what would you say your biggest challenges have been?
I think I'm finding my biggest challenge now.
Okay.
This is the time I'm finding the biggest challenge, because you're dealing with so many diverse people, some who have never been through what,
Yes.
Any form of training, etc., etc. And so knowing how to deal with those characters is a big challenge. I think that the biggest challenge that you have in any institution, and that actually now thinking back, is always the people issue. Because a person is dynamic. A person is not like a computer, you key in certain things and
Program.
you get out
Yes.
certain things. No. A human being, because even in church, you are thinking we worship the same God, but when you see the reactions when something happens, you're thinking, huh? Is it the same Jesus Christ? But so that is the biggest challenge. It's the people thing, knowing how to manage people. It's a serious challenge. Something that I didn't say, from 2012 to 2017, for 6 years, I sat on a board in New York, the ethics board, IESBA, International Ethics Standard Setting Board. We were setting standards for accountants worldwide, for IFAC. And in order to get on that board, we were interviewed, and like in February, and we only knew because they were interviewing people worldwide, and I was actually accepted on that board. So I was representing the African jurisdiction.
Okay.
Now, what I found there is that is the when you say something and how it's not accepted, especially by the men. You being a person of color, yes, a woman,
even a person of color, which is double disadvantage.
So when you say something, the room is quiet, then you're thinking, have I said something wrong? Do you know what I mean?
It's more that they can't accept what you've said because of that. It makes sense to them.
Yes, it makes sense to them, and they're thinking, I just thought that was really curious, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. You can let it get to you or not let it get to you. I have a friend who was at the IMF for some time. She experienced the same thing, but it doesn't matter, because as long as you are confident in what you're doing, that is fine. And it wasn't all the time. It's just sometimes you notice it and you're thinking, hello, especially when you challenge them.
What from your past prepares you for this present challenge?
I think everything.
What experiences from your past?
I think everything that I have gone through add up to make me the person that I am. When I told you that I took a 4-year sabbatical,
yes,
there was no money, hey? You can't stay for 4 years, and but I saw the grace of God coming through, and we managed to do what we needed to do. So all of that adds up to where I have been, where I have managed people, etc. And quite frankly, some of the things that I have done, I think that God allowed it just so, like that ethics thing.
Yes,
Look, they could have picked anybody, but they chose me. Why? I don't think it's because I'm clever or anything. I think it's because God wanted to use that for me at this time. Okay.
One thing you have over and over repeated is your God life from when you were 33 in Botswana. And one thing we find about a lot of us God people is that we believe in this miraculous divine intervention. But throughout the Bible, you don't see that. You see people deliver. Yes, they had a relationship with God, but it was their results that made them. Are you, where you are going, do you feel miracles will sort this out? Or are you looking at things, because if you're coming on a national platform, we have a lot of economic issues, we have a lot of developmental issues, we have a lot of inequality issues. Just because you've been talking about God, what's your mentality about God and God's, is that, can we have a first world Zambia? Will it be by prayer and fasting? What do you think?
I think that, and I know you're a believer, so don't kill me. I think that we misread and we misapply scripture, which is why a lot of people are disenfranchised from the church. Because the way we do church is like, here's somebody who is in grade 12 going into a class 1 school, you know, a class 1. So, and we are all treated the same. Now, when you study scriptures, there's a certain way that God works. So, God only struck the Red Sea open once.
That's right.
Only once.
Yeah.
Not every day. And why? Because there was a need. So when there is a need, God will do something like that. God works in a certain way. However, He also created the mind. And He shows you things and He opens doors, but there's also a lot of preparation. Okay, so ours is to prepare. So within the New Heritage Party, when we started this, like, to strategize a lot. We used to sit and think and strategize, you know. I mean, I think if people had known about us, they would have even been fed up. So we asked ourselves 2 questions. Number 1, how are we going to get in? Okay. And then number 2, what are we going to do once we are in? So that's not by prayer and fasting. There's a lot of thinking and strategizing. But thinking and strategizing that is rooted in what we are doing and our background of who we are. I actually used to say, can we not outthink this system? You know what I'm saying? Because people do things in this way, so how do we maneuver around?
You feel society is ready for outthinking them, or confining you, conforming you to where society is?
No, society is very ripe. Not ready, ripe. They themselves might not even be aware, but when you open their eyes, they say, oh, okay. You see what they are right.
Yes.
We could say the harvest is plentiful.
So Zambia is ripe for transformation.
Very ripe. Very, very ripe. I mean, I think this is the best time to get into State House.
As a woman getting into State House, as a nation, on record, we have less than 20% women participation at the levels of leadership we have. You are coming into this space very boldly, and I do applaud your courage to coming in. Somebody would say, it is not time for a woman to be president in Zambia. We are not ready, we are not ripe for it. What gives you the impetus to want to step into that stage?
Yeah, to challenge the status quo. Firstly, when somebody says, I don't think that Zambia is, what's the barometer? What is the litmus test to say, yeah, temperature is right, now we can bring in a woman president? So what is it that is going to allow this change to happen in August is the environment itself. It's, for me, everything is speaking towards that date. Everything is speaking to, you know, it's like, it's a convergence. You know, everything converges. There are so many things, factors at play. When you look at it with certain eyes, you think, surely it can only go this way, or surely it can only go that way. But when you look deeper, if you discern and you actually look deeper into this whole thing, you find that there are so many things speaking into these things. Ours is simply to be obedient, start doing what we need to do, And yeah.
So again, you go back to the divine providential intervention.
You can only do what you need to do what you need to do. God will do what he needs to do. There's a part for you, there's a part for God.
For him to play.
But the mistake that people make is that God doesn't have a hand to play in this whole thing.
Okay.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Something I noticed through our talk tonight is you haven't alluded to yourself as a woman or talked as a woman. You have talked and kept repeating persons, individuals. You haven't, as it were, identified with that constituency called women, but you have talked as people, individuals. What informs that position?
Right. You will notice that when you look at our society, at the moment we are weighing very heavily on the girl child and leaving out the boy child.
Okay.
And when we go back to scripture, you'll find that God made them male and female. He created them, and we are the ones who have decided that initially it was the male or society relegating the woman to the kitchen, to the home, etc., etc., and then the women folk rose up and said, no, equality, woman power, that sort of thing. I don't subscribe to both.
Okay.
I think that we need to get the balance right.
Work together.
The balance is simple. God created a male and he created a female. Now when you leave the females out, you do so at your own risk. Yes.
You lose a lot.
You lose a lot. And if you do it the other way, if you go the other extreme, you lose a lot. It's like the tribes. It's the same thing.
Yes.
God knew exactly what he was doing when he created the tribes. He put some of the brains in southern province, some in western, northwestern. Do you know what I mean? You need all of these coming together in order to build this nation called Zambia.
I've talked to several women. Mm-hmm. They have also subscribed to plurality. Is it a woman thing to think more of everybody, inclusiveness?
Yes.
And is it a man thing to think more exclusively? Because the women we have profiled, we have talked to, they have looked at broader pictures and inclusiveness, and they have not necessarily been competitive, but they are saying we can do it together. We need. Every one of them has said we need that collaboration and partnership. I'm hearing that again from you. What informs, therefore, that we feel one group can do it, which you alluded to, tribalism. Even in religion, you have denominationalism.
Yes.
Why is it that a group of people feel we can do it without the women, and the women are saying we need to do it together? I'm hearing that.
I think when a group of people get up and think they can do something by themselves, it speaks of ignorance for me. It speaks of ignorance, and it shows me you are not the right type of leadership that we should be looking at. Because a leader should have a broader understanding of issues, and the broader understanding of issues includes that inclusivity.
Yes.
That saying, there's no way you can do it this way. So, many studies have been done on the Fortune 500 companies, and they've found that those Fortune 500 companies that only have men in top leadership, that they don't do as well as those that are balanced.
I've read a lot about that.
Yes, that are balanced. So there's much wisdom in balancing out, because you see, we have perspectives that men don't have, and men have a perspective that we don't have. So don't think you can just say, oh, we are just women and we'll do it, we don't care about you men. No, there are things that men do that I even say, thank God for men. I thank God for men, because I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yes.
But there are aspects that only women can do, only we can do, because maybe I'm a professional person, so I've been to university, I've studied this, I've had this experiences in terms of work, etc. But there's an aspect that I bring to the table that you can't. Even if we had the same experience,
yes,
we have the same studies, the same qualifications, that I will bring to the table.
Just for the mere fact that you're a woman.
Exactly.
There's a quality
yes.
that you carry.
Yes.
That I will never have, even
yes.
if I tried.
Even if you tried. But then there's also a quality that you carry, that the way you think is different.
Yes.
Apparently some think from their left brain, some think from their right brain, yes. etc. So that aspect has to be brought in for there to be a balance. And if we ignore that, we do it at our own peril.
So we therefore need collaboration.
Yeah.
As we wrap up this, as the Heritage Party, General Mianda, and now you are the new Heritage Party.
Yes.
So I believe that there's a newness.
Yeah.
And there's a new platform of thinking and all that. One of the things we have is there's a protocol that says we should have 50-50. But in Zambia we don't have that. And this month we're celebrating women in leadership. What do we need to do yet to actualize 50-50?
Okay.
In your opinion?
It's this 50-50 issue, yeah, it's a number. But we can work towards it.
Okay.
I believe in a situation where people rise into something, not because, don't appoint me because I'm a female.
A woman, yes.
Don't do that, because when you appoint me simply because I'm a woman, you are demeaning me.
That's true.
You are saying you've got no brains, but it's fine. Come.
Just because you're a woman.
Just because I'm a woman. I think that we need to prepare the woman just as we prepare the men. Look, in our homes, we start treating the boys differently for leadership, and then the women differently for washing dishes. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So we now need to realize that, what, we do make a mistake when we do that. We need to allow both the boys and the girls to get involved with.
So are the girls not ready? Because this is 2021. We have the most educated women history we've ever had.
Yeah.
Internationally, locally. Are we saying we don't have the women to do this?
We are working our way towards it. Now, even where I have worked before, you do your statistics about how many women at this level, how many women, how many men. You find that when they start at the bottom, it's always a 50-50. Sometimes the women are even more. And then the numbers for the women keep dropping off. And we ask ourselves the question, why? And the answer is very simple. A lot of it has to do with a societal thing.
Okay.
Women are mostly, housewives. They are somebody's wife.
Yeah.
And sometimes they find that they are doing so much better than their spouse. And they don't want that situation to prevail at home because it creates issues for them.
So these are the reasons preventing
some of them.
The women. It's
a decision that I remember I made a certain decision at a certain point that I didn't want to go beyond. It was a decision, a personal decision, for reasons like that. You say, you are thinking, oh my goodness, I'll never get married because Zambian men don't like educated women, blah, blah. So you decide, I'm not going to get educated.
Yes.
It didn't work. So I decided to move on. You know what I mean? So that is very much a factor. So women sometimes, we prevent ourselves deliberately for that reason. Now, it's very difficult for you to do something about that one. You see, it's a decision that a woman
But are those decisions not based on societal barriers?
Sometimes it's just in the home.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just in the home. I remember a friend, my fiance's friend at the time, saying to him, my friend, when your wife finishes her accountancy, she'll be more educated than you.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? I mean,
how does that reduce the man in any way? If you are aspiring?
It's really up to him. I mean, some people actually do feel reduced. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. Those are the difficult issues which we don't know how to resolve. However, I think what we should start doing is to disciple the future generation of women. Discipling is not what we do in church, where you preach to people.
Yeah.
Discipling is the way I walk with Chilufya, for example.
Yeah.
That is discipleship, because she sees how I do things, why I do things. Do you know what I mean? Jesus had disciples. His ministry actually was, he never started a church.
Discipleship.
Was to the disciples, that he went around with them. That was the main reason. So when we start to, so in the New Heritage Party, for example, we are talking about every leader should have somebody younger to work with, so that these guys can take over from us when we are gone.
So are you saying that for now we may not achieve 50-50?
I don't think so. I doubt that we'll achieve 50-50. That 50-50 thing goes beyond it's the challenges, what I spoke about. It's not just the issue of a decision by the woman, but there are also barriers that are placed on the woman out there. For example, in the political parties, they might not adopt you. Okay, they just decide.
It's not a level playing field.
No, not at all. It's nothing like that. You have to fight. You must fight. And
are you ready to fight? You're already in the fight.
I'm fighting.
You're already
I'm already
in the fight.
fighting. I'm already in the fight. But for most of us women, even financial reasons keep us back.
Okay.
You know, I don't have the money. You really have to be mad to go out there and say, I'm going to do this, because you don't have the money.
Let's wrap it up, Ma. And we thank you for this. The Zambian woman is watching you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying to that Zambian woman in this month for women in leadership? How do we get more women into leadership? What do you need to say to that woman watching, or the young girl watching, that will say, I want to go into leadership, I want to aspire? So
my words to the woman is that find out who you are, find out what you need to do, find out who you need to be, and then focus on that.
Okay.
Don't allow, in fact, there will be barriers and boundaries, but find a way out.
So be authentic, be resourceful.
Yes.
Find a way
around that challenge that you are facing, because you will only feel fulfilled when you start doing what you are supposed to do.
So find who you are.
Yeah.
Be very authentic.
Yeah.
And keep going.
Yes, keep going.
And when you face barriers, there are ways that will come to overcome those barriers.
Yes, because when you don't do that, you become something less than you are. And then you start to do things that you shouldn't be doing.
Fortune favors the brave.
Yeah.
Go out there.
Yeah.
Ms. Chishala Kateka, we want to thank you for your time with us.
Yeah.
It has been an awesome hour, you being with us and challenging us. One thing I have seen is your professionalism. Your training has spoken throughout this. You haven't spoken as a victim. You haven't spoken as a woman. You have spoken as a professional, as somebody that has solutions, very strong ties with God, and you feel that leadership is a service and it's something God has called you to. We hope that your aspirations will come to pass. We look forward to the day we have a Zambian woman president, and probably August will be that time where we would see it actualized come October. We thank you for coming to speak to us on this platform, and you have spoken to the women of Zambia. We pray that God will go with you and your support. As you put out your agenda, the support will come.
Thank you very much.
I know you have talked about resources and all that. They will come too.
Thank you.
Zambia, we have spoken to Ms. Chishala Kateka. She is the presidential candidate for the New Heritage Party, the leader of the party, and she has stepped out to put herself out to serve our nation. She came from very humble backgrounds, and thank God, from what we saw, she came from Lusaka. Most of her life has been in Lusaka. She has espoused a lot of values she got along the way through education, through the professional environment she has come through, and she was courageous enough to step out to start her own thing. Her courage we have seen even till now, where other lesser are stepping backward, she's stepping forward. After warnings that she will spend all her living, she still is going into this journey of adventure into leadership. We thank God for her life, that she has not given up. And we thank God that we will see her and watch her climb this ladder till she gets to her goal. So thank you for joining us today. Tomorrow we have another woman that will be profiling on Scars to Stars. And we know that you will be there watching as we will be here bringing it to you. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. And thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, ma.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thanks.
Sansabalika bakafye kafikeko uchipune cha sansabalika eko bangeli bakulumba eko bukata bubenge shima musumba wa mushilo eko bangeli bakukwila mweba ikala ukwa mushilo isansa shamo ya ine kapelyo mte nabangeli kala imba osana God is not a story in a book.
God is real.